This video is for step number 21, placing a background photo behind your model. So after you have finished your site plan, and for right now I've turned off my trees just so you can see a little bit better, I would like for you to insert a photo by going to File, Import, and I want you to choose the photo called background. It's in the S drive and also it's in Canvas. So if you go to Canvas and download it somewhere on your computer like I did mine, it'll show up in downloads. So I'm going to pick background, and it's important here to pick image where it says use image as. You want to just use it as an image, not a texture. So once you do that, you pick import. And if you're close in your view, just back out of it like this. And if you notice I'm moving it around and it's kind of going flat or vertical, I would just suggest moving it in the gray area somewhere here and just enlarging it just by moving your mouse. I'm not holding my finger down, so I'm just moving it, making it larger, and then selecting it. Okay? So the first thing that you should do is to set this vertical. So I'm going to be looking this way along my red axis, and I'm going to rotate. I'm going to pick a pivoting point there, and I'm going to come over here and grab it from here, and then I'm going to just move my mouse until I see on blue axis, and then pick again. Okay, so it's now selected, and what I would do is to just right click and explode it. You should always explode photos that you bring in. Right click again on it and just make it a group. Now this group should be in a tag called background photo. I've already made one, and I'm going to place it in a background photo. I have another background photo, so it would disappear, okay, because I have this off. But if I turn it back on, you see I have another photo here that I don't want to use for right now. So I'm going to just select this one and delete it for right now. This is the one I'd like for you to use. If we were photographing this as an overall view, then we would just need to move our background photo right behind it. Okay, now it's good to see the skyline of the mountains and some clouds. If we zoom in, you can kind of see how it would look, right? But what I want you to do is set up an isometric view, and I've already done that here. So this is the view that I would like for you to create and turn in. So our photo, if you back out of it, I'll have to turn that back on, needs to be aligned with our view. So if it's an isometric view, this shouldn't be flat. It needs to be rotated parallel with our view. So if we were standing here, it would have to be across here. So I'm going to go back to my rotate again, and I'm going to tap my up arrow, pick the corner, pick another corner, and roughly estimate where it should be. So I think it should be about there. Okay. What I'm also going to do is come up here into View and deselect my access lines, just to make it a little bit more clear. Now, this process takes a little time to position it correctly. So what you have to do is to go to your ISO view. Now, let me turn this back on again. I'm going to update the scene so it won't disappear on me. Update. Now you see we want to cover this sky here. So a little trick here is to just select it, go to Move, pick on it, and then start moving it around. Okay. So it's nice to have a little bit of the background of the mountains, but mostly I would like to see sky here. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, we see a little bit of the background here, and that's pretty good. So I'm going to back out of my view so you can see how it is. Most of this we're not using down here. We're just using basically the sky area, maybe a little bit here. Now, it's a good idea also to make this as small as you can so it won't start to get blurry or pixelate on you. So I would go to Scale, and from the corner grips you can manipulate it proportionally like that. You can also compress it a little bit like this, okay, if you want to. Then I would go back to my ISO view. Okay, so you can see over here that I need to move the image that way. So I would just go to Move, select on the face, and then just start moving a little bit to the left. Okay, so you see it's not quite going to fit at the scale that I had. So I'm going to go back to Scale, back out of my view, make it a little bit larger, maybe on both corners. It's still a little stretched, okay, so back and forth. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now, you see how it kind of just drops off here in the corner? What I might want to do is to just zoom in a little bit. It's nice to show the lamppost here, and if you have it like this, that's okay, but I'm going to do this a little bit like that. Okay. Now, if you need to, you might have to extend this wall a little bit. So if you just edit that until you get to that surface, then you can extend this, okay, out to the sidewalk and this little bottom part here as well. Okay. Then go back to your view. Get out of your editing mode. Okay, now I closed it off a little bit, but not quite, so I'm just going to pan over a little bit like that. Okay, actually I like that little tree showing here in the corner. It adds interest. So, oh, you see that little area there? So I'm just going to go to my Move, select my background photo again, and then just kind of move it around a little bit till it covers it up. Something like that. Okay. This is cut off over here, so I'm going to pan down a little bit. Like that. And then maybe move my image up a little bit there. Okay. So I can see a little bit in the background here. The sun is setting over here. We have nice cloud formation. There's no gap here. Again, this adds a little interest here. If I come over here and turn on my foliage, I can kind of see that, what's going on there. It covers it up here, but that's okay. So that's pretty much it. We want to cover that up where we don't see any of the background of SketchUp. So right-click and update it. And the very last step to this assignment is to back up out of your view and select everything that you have like that, where you have this and the background photo together. Right-click and make that a group. Okay. Going back to my ISO view. So this is what I am expecting as far as the background photo.